Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. Welcome. I'm Kosta. I lead integrations and ecosystem at Miro. And if you were in the keynote earlier, you heard Jeff talk about the shift. Teams need a place to make decisions together. That's what the canvas is becoming, your team's decision engine. And in this session, we'll focus on how AI workflows make this possible. I'll demo it live. I'll talk about what customers, what teams using it are already achieving. And we'll close with some of the practical ways for you to get started. So let's get into it. So here's the reality, and you've heard this a lot throughout the session. Every team represented here is already using AI. Individual productivity is up, but at the team level, you're not moving faster, or at least not in the way that you were expecting. So we commissioned Forrester to understand why. 518 product, business, and IT decision makers. 75% said that most AI tools focus too much on individual productivity and not on teams. 43%, almost half, said that their current technology actively inhibits cross-functional collaboration. So not just fails to help, actively makes it worse. And at the same time, 82% want AI solutions that drive team productivity. So the gap is pretty clear. AI is working, just not at the organization, not at the team level. And I've experienced this myself. Just recently, I had a colleague of mine send me a solution proposal that they spent hours iterating on with their own AI tool. The problem was that it missed critical team context. So now I had to painfully walk it back, and all of that time that was saved is now lost. And the reason is simple. Most AI tools do not offer a shared space for teams to work in the same context, see the same thing, and where AI can act across all of it together. The canvas is where that becomes possible, and that's what this session is about. I'm going to give you the simplest way to think about AI workflows. Think about the best operator in your team, the way they take messy inputs, structure the problem, and help the team move towards a decision. Right now, it lives in their head, and when they leave, it leaves with them. AI workflows make that a team capability. There are two parts, flows and sidekicks. Both are built for accelerating teams, not just individuals. First, flows. These are multi-step AI workflows that you run visually on the canvas. You take any input, chain steps together, and get to a full output in minutes, like product briefs, roadmaps, prototypes. And every step is visible to the entire team. And you can see and share that workflow. So the best way of working becomes something that the entire team can run. Second is sidekicks. These are AI agents that understand your team's context, your processes, your terminology, your data. You build them, share them, and govern them so individual expertise becomes something that the whole org can benefit from. And a sidekick that your lead architect puts together doesn't have to stay with them. It becomes something that the whole team can use. Now, that all gets a lot more powerful when you connect it to the rest of your tools. And this is what we announced this morning, connectors. With connectors, flows and sidekicks don't just run on the canvas. They can reach into your tools that the team already uses. They pull in context from Jira, Slack, Google Drive, GitHub, and help you take action across those tools. So it's not just reading the data. It's updating tickets, posting summaries, creating pull requests as part of AI workflows. It's built right into the UI, so anyone on the team can connect their tools and use them. Instead of AI sitting off to the side in a chat window, it becomes part of how the entire team works together. Everyone sees the output, reacts to it together in real time, and moves forward towards decisions without switching context or handoffs. Now, let me show you how this works conceptually before a demo. On the left, you have inputs. All the data that your team already has across Slack threads, Jira tickets, dashboards, meeting transcripts. Connectors bring all of that onto the canvas, visualizing the inputs and putting a structure around them for the team to align on what needs to happen next. Flows and sidekicks accelerate decision making. Your existing work becomes context for AI. This is what Jeff called Canvas as a prompt this morning. Flows chain steps together to turn that context into something useful. Sidekicks then help you iterate. And your team is working through it together in real time. And then on the right, you have outputs. Because connectors go both ways, the outputs, the decisions, don't have to stay on the canvas. They can flow into the tools that your teams use. So Canvas is where decisions happen and where work gets orchestrated from. And connectors get the headline today, but a few other important things have changed here. You can generate board content and frames, creating spaces for teams to collaborate in. Sidekicks now remember your team's work and preferences, so you're not starting from scratch every time. They can also help you break down complex problems, planning with you, not just answering questions. And voice is lowering barrier for working with AI. And you've got admin controls around it, so you can manage how this rolls out across your teams. So now, let me show you a use case that we have at Miro for cross-functional work. Here I have a flow that does quite a lot of work, so I'm going to go ahead and kick off the first couple of steps while I talk through it. So take any big project, a market expansion, product launch, or even pulling off a keynote like the one you saw today. They all have the same shape in that you have multiple teams working together: marketing, operations, legal, product engineering, customer support. And you rarely see a beautiful timeline in a single place for an initiative like this. Everyone is tracking their work in different places. They have all their own formats of tracking it. So for example, you have maybe a Confluence page with a marketing go-to-market plan. It's very dates-driven. But then product engineering tracks things differently. They have status updates. They're tracking dependencies, risks. Dates are kind of scattered throughout. And then you have legal, more checklist-driven. Operations is similar. So 5 different teams, 5 different sources of information, sources of truth. And on top of that, you have chatter happening in Slack channels like this. You have posts, status updates, conversations, and it's all useful in the moment. But if you were trying to understand where a project stands at any given moment in time, you would be completely lost. And that's the problem that we're solving. So I'm going to go back to the board, and I can see that the first step already finished generating. So what this has done is took conversations in Slack from the past 7 days and put a structure around that that's in front of you. So you can see for each function whether it's running at risk, on track, or off track, what's progressing, what's at risk, how does that compare against the timeline, and the decisions that are needed. So something that would take me an hour every Monday to put this together before a launch check that we have took less than a minute. And now the team can review it and align on this together. And then below here, this already finished running. You can see a timeline. 5 different Confluence pages, 5 different teams, all pulled into a single timeline with swim lanes for each function and work windows for the things that they're working on. You have campaigns here, customer support agent training, legal compliance checks. And this is possible with connectors. If I open up the prompt here, you'll see that this is pulling information from the Atlassian space. And I have a number of tools connected here. I have Slack connected as well. That's how the other update came in. And I can connect more. So this is pulling from Confluence. This is pulling from Slack. And this is the input step. So we use connectors to get information onto the canvas. The team can review, align. And now what we're doing is we're using this information from across different sources to generate a frame for the team to collaborate in, to conduct a weekly launch readiness check. So while this is running, I'm going to show you a previous one that we generated and some of the elements that you're going to see here. So at the top, you'll see a launch confidence check with a space for people to drop in their concerns. There's a single line headline for where the project, the whole initiative stands across functions. You have a swim lane for each team with statuses and what's progressing, what's at risk, decision needed. And this part is really cool. This is AI surfaced conflicts. So looking across the Slack updates and the individual documents that teams are tracking, AI is surfacing conflicts in dates and dependencies that teams otherwise wouldn't have surfaced. So for example, there's zero margin for customer success, customer support training. There's, the timeline is from August 18th to September 1st. And we already see in the update that PIX dispute APIs, which are necessary to train the agents, are slipping potentially to August 20th. So if it does slip, there's zero margin, and we potentially are going to have untrained customer support agents. And there's a critical mismatch here as well. There is a hard, committed marketing campaign launching on August 25th, but the product that's actually launching, that's announced in that campaign, is running behind. So this is something the team hasn't mapped yet, and now they can get into the meeting and discuss these dependencies and align on an action path forward. So the team can discuss what are the most important conflicts to resolve, add any additional ones, and then outline the top priorities for them to work on this week. So this is where decisions are happening in real time. We're accelerating with AI workflows. We took the inputs from scattered sources. We synthesized them onto the canvas. Then we took that information. So remember, canvas is a prompt, and we fed it to generate a frame for the weekly launch readiness. And you can actually see that's finished running as well. And my board froze up a little bit, so let me go ahead and refresh it. OK, so if I go down here, you can see a similar frame has been generated. The team is already indicating their alignment on how confident they are in the launch. They're dropping top concerns. And then as they review what's at risk, decisions that are needed, we're all going down here and voting on the most important conflicts to resolve. So I know the PIC's not live at launch. That's the campaign mismatch, let's say. I'm going to put my avatar in that to vote as something that requires discussion. And the team is doing the same thing. And now the team is putting the priorities for the week, right? So they're deciding on what needs to happen next in order to move this entire initiative forward, resolve conflicts. And just like that, we have, in a meeting, taking all of those inputs, saving hours of time, putting those inputs together, aligning, have generated decisions on the canvas together. So this is something that's repeatable. We built this flow once, and we run this every week before this launch checklist. What's different every week is the team communication. This is not something that I want to put in the flow. I want to have control over that communication, and I want to iterate on it. So I reach for the sidekick, selecting this frame, and also connecting Google Drive, where we have the meeting transcript from the meeting, where decisions that didn't make it onto the canvas might live, and important new ones that came up in the discussion is there as well. I'm going to go ahead and connect Google Drive. And so now, in a couple of clicks, we have it connected. And I'm going to ask the sidekick to pull the launch readiness transcript from that Google Drive, use this frame as context, and draft me a Slack message to send to Flexfund Brazil launch, the channel we were just looking at. So now the sidekick is thinking. I want to see what it's actually doing. So right now it's getting Slack tools loaded and Google Drive tools as well. It's pulling in the board context from the frame and also reading, looking for the launch readiness transcript in Drive. It found the transcript, and now it's reading the full document, combining it with the decisions we made, and I'll put on the frame as stickies, and it's drafting the update for the team. So it has the decisions made at the top and action owners this week. It actually looks really good, but I'm going to say I want to signal urgency and make this more of a call to action. So now it's going to iterate on the update with me. OK, great. It's including a siren at the top, which is great to indicate urgency. And the names are more in bold. It's more action-oriented. I like the way this looks, so I'm just going to say, yes, please, send. So what it's going to do now is ask me for permission to send it to Slack, because I don't want agents running wild and just sending messages that I don't want everywhere. So I'm going to allow it once. And it's sent to Slack. So I'm going to go ahead and tab over to that channel we were just seeing. And here it is, siren at the top. The update is there in Slack. We took the decisions and the synthesis from the canvas. We didn't leave it there. We brought it to where the teams needed it. So that's the demo. So let's quickly recap what you just saw there. We started with scattered info, reality of any big project. In 2 button clicks, it was all in the canvas for the team to align and review. And everyone's looking at the same thing in context together. Then we use that context to run a launch confidence check, a workshop. AI surfaced conflicts that the team otherwise would have missed, and people added concerns, voted, workshopped, put decision onto the board. Came out of the other side with those decisions, and now that we ran a sidekick to combine the transcript from Google Drive with what was on the board, so that the decisions didn't stay on the canvas, it flew into the tools that we needed them. And what I want you to take away with this is that Canvas isn't where work just gets documented after the fact, is where work actually happens. Now I would love to hear from you. So you've done this maybe a few times today already, so grab your phones, scan the QR code. It takes a couple of seconds. If the QR code is not your thing, you can go to miro.com/join and enter the code that you see right there on the screen. I'm going to give everyone a couple more seconds. Great, I see still a couple of phones up. Nice. OK, so let's move here. I'm going to go ahead and expose the QR code here just in case as well. So now, how would you use AI workflows? Meaning, what is a process that your team still runs that is manual, it involves manual handoffs, that's painful enough for it to matter, that you can automate with AI workflows? Amazing. Wow, weekly updates is a huge one. That's a big one for us as well, and we see a lot of our customers focused on similar ones. Amazing workout. Retros, project updates, stand-up. Love it. So these are all great examples, and we've seen many of our customers tackling exactly those same processes and seeing great results. So let me give you some examples. Smart System Guild used flows to run complex project for Freitag. Over 40 different workshops with stakeholders. Detailed process engineering, multiple RFPs. They cut project time in half and made data analysis 80% faster. And Miro became Freitag's living documentation for the next phase, not a report that gets filed away. And if you saw Endava presentation earlier, you saw how Miro became their hub for shared context and decision making. How they use blueprints, codified flows, and custom sidekicks. So every consultant in Endava works off of the same optimized workflow. And they're seeing up to 40% faster cycle times. 2 different teams, different industries, but the same pattern. This works when it's embedded into how teams actually work, not added on top. So what can you actually do with this, and where do you start when you go back to your desks? Start by finding where context gets lost, where your team is copying things between tools or waiting for handoffs. Pick one high-impact flow, something that's painful enough to matter, and connect it to your stack. So bring that context onto the canvas and decisions back into your tools. And then make it repeatable, so your best way of working becomes something that the entire team, every team in the organization can run. You don't have to transform everything and boil the ocean. Just one flow, share it, and now every team that needs it can use it and move faster together. And what can you do today? 3 things. Visit our demo booths if you haven't already. They've been there all day. And if you want to explore this, talk to the team there. We'd love to help you get started. We have a webinar coming up as well. So register for it with this QR code. Invite your team for a chance to go deeper with your team. And then talk to our account team. They can provide advice and work with you to see whether a trial of AI workflows is the right next step for you. And that's it for our presentation. Thank you so much.